So I have my Amayo here in front of me, and I was knitting along on one of my rows, and I got to the end of the row and I realized I didn't have enough stitches. So I looked back at the previous row and I studied it for a while actually. And looking at the previous row, I realized that I made a mistake way at the beginning. So I've kind of marked in between the stitches where I need to be fixing. So right here, this is correct. That was a bark yarn over bark. So a knit yarn over knit. And then I should have gone into a bark one, a knitting one. This next stitch here should have been another bark yarn over bark instead of the decrease that I did there. And then I should have done the decrease. So it's essentially 4 rows back rather, that I would have to tink because of the way brioche is knit. You knit across twice, once with your fingering weight, once with the mohair, and then on the back side I do the same thing. I do one pass with the fingering and another pass with the mohair. And so that's a lot of tinking, especially with mohair. And so I'm kind of thinking that I might try a little brioche surgery. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. It's probably going to take a while, but frankly, I don't know that it's going to take any more time and effort than it would be to tink back 4 rows. And so let's go ahead and give this a try. I don't know if this is going to work either in actually doing it or in the video. So I might scrap all of this footage and not even use it. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit here first of all though, so maybe you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. Can I move that? Okay, first thing I need to do is get these stitches here onto my other needle. So let's slip these. I've marked the last correct stitch, which is also a mohair stitch that I don't want to lose. So I've actually got a light bulb stitch marker catching it as well as the cable. All right, so here's that last correct stitch. I'm going to slide both it and the light bulb stitch marker. So this is where I need to start doing some dropping of stitches. Hopefully this is going to work. I think what I'm going to do is take my point protectors and slide them on to the needles, so that way I don't have to worry about the stitches that are that are correct falling off. It's going to make it maybe a little, I don't know, we're going to try it. I hope it doesn't make it so that I can't work here. So okay, so that can, let me figure out where I'm at. Actually, I bet if I slide this all the way onto the cable, will that be a little better? Oh yeah, that works a little better. Get the needle points right out of the way. So I got a crochet hook. Oh wait a minute, nope. First thing I need to do is slide this back over. And this is the decrease, yes. So we're gonna take this first stitch off, put that point protector back on, and slide it out of the way. Now I only have to drop it down to here, so let's drop it. Oh, sorry. Can't watch the camera and what I'm doing all at the same time. So again, I am hoping that this is going to work. I watched a couple videos on how to pick up stitches in brioche. So we're going to see. So if I pull this apart really carefully, there is my first stitch. Ooh, you know what? Let's open up some of these light bulb stitch markers so they're ready to go, because I think I'm going to need them to help me rescue my stitches. All right, so let's put one on here. I'm usually really fearless in dropping stitches, and even in complicated lace, I've actually done it. And so I figured, well, what do I have to lose if the amount of time that I spend doing this is no worse than what I would have done taking back, then I haven't lost anything. All right, what's going on here? I'm not sure why I have 3 stitches. That was only was one of these a hat? I don't really know. Oh, I think I figured it out. The row below was a double increase, which means I have 1 stitch here, 1 stitch here. Ooh, I might not have to drop as many as I think. The trick is going to be, can I catch all of my little mohair? Because those are harder to see. All right, well, let's put a stitch marker on there to keep that one from running away any further. And let's put a stitch marker on that one. Oh, come on. There we go. To keep it from running away. Okay, now I should have 2. Would I have 2 mohair knit stitches in there? Because that's what I'm not finding. See, I should have these stitches that are in between. I should have. What's going on here? Okay, here's one of them for sure. And there should be one in here, in between. Okay, I think I figured it out. So this increase here that I've kind of have, it looks like a big old mess. I don't know, how well can you see it? So this was a double increase. And I was thinking at first that I had the 3 separate loops of that increase, but I'm pretty sure that the first loop in that increase was what I used right here in this stitch that is correct. So I think this here is actually a thread. I don't think, see, that's actually connected right there. So this is not actually, that light bulb stitch marker is not actually doing anything for me. I think I'm good. I think I have 1 loop here, and then the mohair stitch, and then the fingering stitch, and then the next mohair stitch is way up here. So let's see if I can't try to ladder these back up now in the way that they should be. And I know in watching my video that correcting brioche is easiest on the knit side. So I don't know if I'm going to have to flip this back and forth. I might have to. This is like twisting and bending, and I feel like it's making it. If I stick that underneath, will it be a little bit easier? Come on. This mohair is so fussy. Okay. So this next stitch was just supposed to be a bark one, just basically a plain old knit stitch. So if I can ladder this up properly, let's take it off of the light bulb stitch marker and get it onto my crochet hook. Okay, now it's secure. Now, from what I'm understanding, I need to skip this next mohair stitch, which is the scarf, as you will, of the row below. I need to go, oh, come on, don't stick. I need to go under this one and pick up the next fingering weight and pull that fingering weight underneath the mohair, underneath the knit stitch. And then go under, so I'm skipping this one, going under the mohair, grab the fingering weight and pulling it through. And then if I grab the mohair, that will now give me the hood that it should have, or the scarf, whichever terminology we're using. So I think what I can do is now take my point protector off and put this onto my needle. Try to make sure it's oriented right, although I can fix that later. I'm a little less worried about that. All right, one stitch fixed. Now, we need to get the mohair stitch picked up. Let's put the point protector back. Gives me a little sense of security. So if I flip this, where am I? All right, this is the one that doesn't matter. I'm going to take this one off because that's just, might have been an extra. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. Oh, but I've got I now have this here that I just created. Is that just a loop or is that an actual stitch? I can't tell. I think it might just be the loop. I don't think, yeah. Okay. So let's poke that to the other side. If I flip it, see if I can do the same thing. All right, so this time I am skipping the fingering weight. Don't have another one I can go under. Is it this one? I'm gonna see. I'm gonna think it's this one. I'm a little less concerned about the mohair being accurate only because it's a lot thinner and it doesn't show quite as much. So if it's not 100%, I'm kind of okay with that. But that might work, because this one's not supposed to have a hat anyway, so I think I'm actually right. Oops, come on. It's so wispy, it's hard to get through. Okay, there we go. And now, turn it. I think this can go back onto the needle. Okay. Now, the next stitch, this one here, is supposed to be a bark yarn over bark. So first, I think I need to ladder it up one more row. under, pull it, and through. Okay. Now, in this stitch, let me think about this for a second. I'm supposed to, with this piece of fingering, right? Or what? No, it would have been with this piece of fingering, because this piece of fingering would have been the wrong side going back across. Okay. So I need in the same stitch. So if I go back through and I grab, this is where it's going to get probably a little tight. Okay, let's pull it through. I need to hold on to that and yarn over and then pull another stitch through. Is that going to work? Nope. Okay. I'm going through, yarn over, and through again. Is that going to work? Aha! There we go. So now I have my increase. Sorry about that. I keep sliding this over. If I move the tray over, maybe I'll feel like. Okay, now I need to pick up all 3 of these stitches to get them up. So you've got, this would be my right side mohair, and then my wrong side fingering and my wrong side mohair. So we got to get all of those. So let's do these one at a time. Slide these onto a light bulb stitch marker so I can work with them one at a time. Okay, now this one we have to go under and grab this, whoops, back under, grab the fingering weight, and then under. It needs its little hood. Okay, now we're going to take the next one. Don't want to lose this because it was annoying to get it in the first place. So let's just do that. Bottom line is I just want the right number of stitches. So let's try this. And then, nope, that's definitely not right. Okay, I gotta create, what does a bark, yarn over bark look like over here? All right, so if I look at it here, I've got a stitch here. I've got like this little, okay, so the yarn goes under. There's a little loop that goes through. All right, let's try that. Oh, because this would have been knit on the wrong side. Ah, yes. Okay, I know what I need to do now. I need to flip it over and let me think about it now, but I need to be picking up a mohair column in that. So this is the thread that I want to be picking up. So maybe I can just pick it up as a purl stitch, which would be, yes, that's what I need. All right, now let's throw a stitch marker on here so I can pull that to the other side and work with it over there. Can I do it without losing it and without having to actually close it? Okay, now I should be able to pick up this same stitch here, right? I need a stitch here, so it needs to go okay. I had to switch out my battery, but I think I've got this pretty much right. So I think I can move to the next pair of stitches. It's getting a little tight is the problem I'm running into here, but I'm kind of working on borrowed yarn here. So let's move. Okay, I think I have pretty well fixed this spot. It's not perfect, but you know what? It's okay. It's the right number of stitches in the right spot, which is really kind of the most important thing. And I think in the scheme of things, when I'm looking at the whole project, it's not going to really show. Now, the next thing I need to do is I need to drop these 3 stitches, all 3 of them, because they were supposed to be a left leaning decrease. Yes, I'm looking over at my pattern. So a decrease that was, I should have, by the time I'm all done with this, I should have 1 stitch and it should be leaning left. So let's see if I can figure out how to do that. I gotta start, let's put my point protector back on this needle first of all. Pull that up out of the way so I get a little working room here. Let's take the first stitch and drop it down. And it's not here. Okay, there's one. And it is, no, wait a minute, maybe it is this one. Yeah, I think it's just this loop because this would be my wrong side loop. So right here, okay. Put a little stitch marker on that one. And let's drop the mohair. Down a row. And let's drop this one down a row. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do is go get a double point needle because I think this might be, if I like actually pretend to knit it, I might actually be a little more successful. So I'm gonna go and do that. Okay, I've got these stitches as they would have been on my double point needle. This is my working yarn. Here, let's untwist it. Right, is that my working yarn? Or is that gonna be, no, that's gonna be my yarn from the row below. Where's my working yarn? Did I need to drop it down one more? I did need to drop it down one more. Oh, after all of that. Okay. Well, that's okay. We can do this one stitch at a time with the other double pointed needle. And that is now my working yarn. Okay, so let's now do this and pick up my I don't know if that's actually the proper, I feel like. Okay, I got my stitches picked up here and the order they would have been in. This is like my working yarn. So let's see if I can do this now. I would have slipped the stitch and then you knit two together. Oh, I missed the hood on that one. There we go. And then lift that over. Okay. Now it's a matter of laddering it back up, I think. I feel like I don't have enough. Okay. What does this look like? Am I missing anything? I'm missing a hood for this one, which is right here somehow. There we go. I think I might have gotten it. Ooh, it's a little tight here. Come on, get up onto my, or is my, oh yeah, tighten my needle. There we go. Can I slide these back over? Okay, so I should have a mohair stitch right here. And This one here with its hat. And this one here, it's really tight here, but that's okay. I think I might have fixed it. I'll move back over. All right. Ooh, it's a little wonky looking. Maybe I can use my double point needle here to kind of tighten things up here. I think I've got a loose mohair. That's not quite right, but I'm a little less worried about that. I think this is actually pretty decent. There we go. That helps. And I think when I block it, it'll even out somewhat too. There. And then that was the last correct stitch. Well, it's a little bit on the wonky side, but I think I fixed it. Was this faster than tinking back and ripping it out? I don't know. I think it took me an hour and a half, maybe not quite an hour and a half. It was more interesting in any event. So we're gonna go with this and then see what happens. Maybe I'll knit this next row with a lifeline. That way, in case I decide I really don't like it and I want to rip it out. Although at that point, I guess it doesn't matter because I would just have to rip out below what I've already done anyway. So yeah, there we go. That is my fix for my Amayo. Okay, I wanted to come in here and film just a little addendum to add to the end of the video now that I have knit a few rows back beyond where I did the fix. But before I do, if you've stuck this far with the video, thank you so much. I know the quality wasn't the best. A lot of times I pulled my work out of frame and it was hard to see, so I apologize for that, but I left it as it was. Actually, I did a lot of trimming, but I left a lot of the footage because I talked through the process, and I'm hoping that even hearing what I was thinking, even if you can't always see the work, will be helpful in understanding how I made the decisions that I made. So I think all in all, it looks pretty good. You can see right here, this was the last correct stitch. So these are the stitches here that I picked up. This was my decrease that I did. It's a little bit loose and wonky here, but all in all, I would say if I didn't point it out, nobody would be any the wiser. You certainly can't see it from a galloping horse, could you? And I think once I get it blocked, it's really going to disappear into it and it'll be just fine. Was it faster? I think it's still debatable. It would have probably taken me a good half an hour or so to pick back or tink back 4 rows essentially, and then another 40 minutes or so to re-knit those 4 rows. So I would have been looking at an hour and 15 minutes of work. That's probably about how long it took me to do the fix and drop it and all of that. But I think it was interesting. It was a nice little challenge and probably still easier and a little less frustrating, even if it took about the same amount of time. So thanks so much for checking this video out. I will link the video down below that I watched. It's a Stephen West video on how to fix mistakes in brioche. And if you have any questions, certainly drop me a line or leave a comment in the show notes. Thanks a lot and have a great day.